Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
How are you, buckaroo?
Oh, man, look, it's just yet another busy weekend for all of us here at TWIG Radio. You know, we had, you and I stopped by the IGL Foundation NOLA Gaming Fest.
That we did.
Yes, and that was a good time. We had a lot of fun. And, of course, Skungy was there with GameStop, doing games all weekend long.
He was.
And we divided and conquered because Mr. Don Cooper went and did photography over at Sawacon in Kenner.
He went by his lonesome all by himself?
He did.
Our little Don's all grown up.
I know, it's great, yeah. And he's starting to post pictures now on our Facebook page. They look phenomenal, so...
There you go. All right, well, let's set up the show. We've got a homeless bum in the studio with Brian tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to do some top nerd news, but it's going to be a little abbreviated because Skungy's here with us in studio.
Oh, that's who that is.
Yes.
Once again, y'all keep leaving that back door open, and I'm just walking right in. There's food here, right?
Yeah, that's what happens. You feed him and pet him. They keep showing back up.
Right, but he's got so much E3 content to go over that we're going to do, first segment, the rest of it with him, and then second. And then we're going to air the press junket from Momocon as our guest interview. That was Mr. Roger Clark, who's the voice of Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was very cool meeting him. And my PA, Katie, got a question in right at the end. It was pretty cool.
Look at that.
I know. And then we'll close it out as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
But first, oh, no, you know what? That's the old one. You know what? We're doing our top nerd news. I forgot to swap out the top nerd news sounder. So, what's topping us off, Brian?
All right.
Live radio. I love it.
Yeah, I know. All right, so this is might be exclusive here.
What?
Friend of the show, Kimberly Richardson, was in Vegas this past week for a tea. Yes.
Breaking news.
She was there for the World Tea Expo because, of course, she has her Viridian Tea Company.
Right.
And while she was at the Las Vegas Convention Center, to what did she see on the big digital signage?
A yoga pants convention.
No.
Okay.
That would have been funny. Las Vegas welcomes Blizzard. Yes. And so apparently Las Vegas is courting Blizzard to bring Blizzcon to Vegas.
Shut up.
Yes.
Right,
Good town for it.
That's sweet.
And I went and looked. I checked the news outlets, and nobody's really talking about it. A couple of years ago, it was sort of the rumor if Vegas was going to pick up Blizzard's event, but I mean, here they are. There was, the evidence. She sent me a picture. She's like, oh, my God, I'm freaking out because she plays World of Warcraft. So
roving news reporter Kimberly Richardson.
Yes. So,
nice. Well, good.
Yeah, no, it'd be pretty cool.
That gives us an excuse to go to Vegas now? Is that what this is going on?
That's where what I'm trying to get to.
I like where your head's at, Brian Held.
Yes. The other thing I wanted to talk about is earlier today I went and saw Men in Black International.
Okay.
What? I mean...
Brian Held amongst the people, seeing movies with the plebes. Tell us about it, Brian Held.
So I'm kind of sad because when I posted, people commented. I post usually I'm getting show notes and people are like, "Oh, I enjoyed it." It looked like Men in Black.
Okay.
And
I've not seen one good review for it yet. I mean, help me out here, man.
All of the dialogue seemed wooden and stilted.
Okay.
It didn't have the heart of Men in Black, right? There's a certain feeling, and the comedy wasn't there. I mean,
you would think that would work out well because they did so well together in Thor Ragnarok.
Absolutely.
But
you had Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Liam Neeson were the big three in this movie, and it felt so flat to me.
Who was the weird-looking potato guy with looked like a red egg or whatever?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was just kind of watching it like I really wanted to look at my watch and be like, "Are we done here?"
Damn, that good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, some interesting visual effects and getting to see it across the pond, sure, whatever. But yeah, it was just like the dialogue was bad. Like the writing was bad.
Like everything I saw from the trailers for Hemsworth, they just seemed like he was playing the same guy from Ghostbusters. He seemed like he was playing the dumbass from Ghostbusters.
A little bit, like halfway, right? Like halfway between Thor and Complete Idiot.
Yeah, not covering his eyes when it's loud.
Right.
Which one of these make me look like a doctor?
I know, right?
But yeah, that was one of the central themes about how he was so awesome and great at one time and saved the world.
Okay.
And then people are doubting his ability now as, he's, not the same person, and he's kind of acting like an idiot.
And he's not pot-bellied with a guitar playing Xbox all day?
No, he wasn't.
That's a different movie.
He wasn't the Big Lebowski version of Thor.
That's a great version of Thor.
It is. Yeah. But, you might want to wait till DVD comes out on
not
this.
Not a glowing recommendation.
No.
Wait, you know what I watched this weekend?
What's that?
Ralph Breaks the Internet. It popped up on Netflix over the weekend.
Finally
I watched that last night as well.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the first, but it was still fun.
Yeah, it was cute. It was still Ralph Breaks, the internet. I mean, it was a little creepy with all those little Ralphs like moving around like a writhing souls tormented in hell version of Ralph.
It was very dark. It was a lot darker than you would think for a Disney movie.
It was crazy. Sorry.
Did you see the bunny and the pancakes?
Yes, at the end, the best was the cute little girl going, "I hate when you watch trailers and the part that was in the trailer's not in the movie." And there it is at the end of the movie. I'm like, score.
Nice.
That was good.
No, that's cool. That's good stuff. All right, on to some Top Nerd news here. More Top Nerd news.
Top Nerd news.
Yes, Ant-Man 3 and Thor 4 reportedly confirmed for MCU Phase 4.
What does that mean, though, Thor 4? I mean, is it going to be Tessa Thompson? I mean, is she the new Thor? I mean, that's kind of what it seemed to be. It was like the handing off of the mantle, as it were, to her.
I don't know, but because the thing is that Chris Hemsworth recently has said that he's going to be backing off of acting a little bit to spend time with his family. His kids are young; they're at that age, so he wants, and kudos to him. That's great. But I've also seen recently them talking about bringing Beta Ray Bill into the Thor universe.
Yeah. How do they pull that off, though?
Well, I thought they were going to put Thor in Guardians. I mean, they set that up for him to be part of the Guardians.
Well,
they did, yeah.
So the full slate that it seems like that they're developing right here is Ant-Man 3, Thor 4, Black Widow, The Eternals, Black Panther 2, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange 2, Nova, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I think, we've got plenty of time. We've got years for all this stuff to come out. So easily Chris Hemsworth's going to come back.
Well, maybe we'll get some explanations in the new Spider-Man, if it really is a multiverse, or if they're just kind of, pulling our leg and Mysterio really is just, a dude with a fishbowl on his head.
Well,
we'll find out. But I mean, if they pull in the multiverse stuff, I'm fully on board, because then you can play with all the storylines, everything, So you could remove Thor from the equation if he wants to go play in the park with his kids. I mean, and I'm totally fine with that.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Father's Day to all our nerd fathers out there.
Oh, that's true.
I know.
That's true.
You guys wouldn't know, you bums.
Yeah.
I'm carrying the load
I'm
for
a
you
cat
guys.
dad.
Cat dad my ass.
You see, I mean...
And thank you. Yeah, you took my cat, so I appreciate you raising my cat.
And it's cool because I can just come by, visit your kids, fill them full of sugar, shake them up, and give them back to you.
I hate you.
I know you do.
All right, what's next?
All right. So while we're talking about movies... and this is going to lead to something else. Warner Brothers is going to announce their new slate of DCEU films at SDC 2020.
Ooh,
so
another year.
Yeah. Now the next SDCC is coming up July 18th to the 21st.
So is there any buzz around any DC movies except maybe Aquaman 2?
Joker comes out in theaters October 4th.
Wonder Woman's coming out too, 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 should be coming out this year as well.
Yeah, they released a poster. Ooh.
Right.
They look like it's some of the weird psychedelic. It looked like they stole an idea from Thor Ragnarok's poster.
Well, hopefully this will give them enough time, like a year, to really kind of regroup, get their head back in the game, right?
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Yeah, I think that's already pretty obvious at this point, right? And while we're talking about DC, I just saw this pop up. You might be excited about this.
I'm never excited.
Krypton, right? Which is on the Sci-Fi Network.
They got Brainiac in it. They've got and then Lobo popped up in it.
They just announced a Lobo spinoff that it's in development.
I don't know what I think about that because I haven't seen the Lobo how they portrayed him on Syfy. And then, I mean, if he's not cursing,
if every other word isn't a bleep,
right. I mean, how the hell are you going to pull that off on Syfy? You're going to play it at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
and then you can only drop one F-bomb, and the rest is going to be poop.
Well, I mean, that would be kind of funny if it was a lot of bleeps. But that would get old fast.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. This does not intrigue me in the slightest.
Well, it's in development. So
hopefully it'll stay in development hell.
Yeah. They're also developing Chucky, The Woods, Night Gallery, Wayward Children, The Raven Cycle, and Death is My BFF. So, all very exciting and compelling content, Dave. I know you're super excited about all that.
Riveting.
Yeah, totally. Can we go to break?
Well, we need to get a Skungy, or do you want?
We'll go to break and then we come back to Skungy.
All right.
The hobo's been talking the whole first segment. It's okay.
All right, that's fine.
But we have to hit our benchmarks and we have to pay the sponsors. We got to make sure the sponsors.
Gotcha. All right, guys, when we get back, we're going to have our boy Skungy and his Pick of the Week. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
ProSe Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At ProSe Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. ProSe specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. ProSe Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back, folks, into The Week in Geek. This is Brian Held, your co-host, and this interview that we're about to air was from Momocon all the way back on May 25th. KDRPA and myself went up there, and we got to participate in a little bit of a press junket. So here is Roger Clark with the press at Momocon.
So I have a question. You have a pinned tweet on your Twitter feed talking about your performance in Red Dead Redemption. That's not just voice acting. It's much more performance capture. And for folks out there who might not know what that is, if you wouldn't mind, going through that a little?
No, not at all. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's a very common misconception, and it's totally understandable, too, because 5-6 years ago, the majority of video games was achieved through voice acting, But nowadays, most AAA titles are doing more and more performance capture, which is more like what you see with Andy Serkis on Planet of the Apes and Gollum, etc., and that was the majority of our work on Red Dead. If I had to break it down, I would say maybe 85% was done in performance capture, and then maybe 15% was done in the booth. But even in the booth, we still had our facial captured so that the animators could get the lip sync just right for the dialogue. So yeah, and it's such, it's very common nowadays that they go, I think you're an amazing voice actor, and I go, you know what? Thank you. I'm proud to call myself a voice actor, but most of the work on Red Dead, and indeed most video games these days, isn't just voice acting. There's other mediums involved now too, and there's other disciplines too, and it's fascinating to see the way performance capture is developing. Like the 5 years that I worked on Red Dead, to see the technology advance in front of our very eyes is really, really interesting.
I mean, it's probably more involved than the movie industry, right?
I haven't done much features, so I couldn't tell you, but I have done a few shorts, and you know what? It's not that dissimilar. You learn your script, and the only difference is you're not in costume, and you don't have a realistic set. The set is dimensionally accurate, but it's all just pipes and and scaffolding. So that's where the animators come in, and they're really helpful because they can show you the environment that you're actually working in. There's a great documentary that just came out from Santa Monica that goes into detail about it a little bit. We're called The Making of God of War. Raising Kratos, I think it's called. And that's really interesting. If you want to know more about performance capture, you see a lot of it in that.
Cool, thank you.
So what made you take an interest in acting?
Oh, man. Wow. I guess I got bit by that bug as a child, I didn't want to, but, it's something I got pushed into at 5, 6 years old. And, it was something that I always had a passion and a love for, but I never really had the bravery to try and do it as a career until I probably finished my freshman or sophomore year at college, and that's when I changed majors. But, the whole thing of working in theater is where I started out, and that's where a lot of my passion still lies, because you get no filter between your audience, and you realize what works and what doesn't in real time, which is a great teacher for other forms of acting too, whether it be on film or performance capture with the tight suits and the balls on and everything. So, yeah, I've always had it. Yeah.
Who would you say has had the biggest impact on your career?
Oh, wow. You mean influentially?
Either influentially or somebody who's just been a source of encouragement.
Well, Rockstar Games sure gave me a huge opportunity. Not a lot of people knew who I was before October, but there have been a lot of influences on my career. I like the old greats from the mid-20th century, and particularly with Arthur Morgan. I studied Toshiro Mifune a lot, who was one of the preferred actors of Akira Kurosawa, beg your pardon. And who was the star of Yojimbo and Sanjuro, which were later to become the influences of Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More. So that guy just hypnotized me, Toshiro Mifune. He is such an amazing screen presence. So I definitely took a few pages from his book, especially when I was working on Arthur.
The interesting thing about Red Dead Redemption 2 to me is not just that it's been extremely popular, but I've seen a lot of press, like from National Public Radio, saying that this game, if not the first, is one of the first games that will transcend its own medium and will be considered art. So what is it like thinking about your place in that?
Well, I mean, if that is true, that's indeed an honor. I do think that as gamers age, I grew up on Pac-Man and I remember Pong. The audience is definitely maturing, and as the audience matures, so does, I think, the content that they buy, whether it be film, TV, or multimedia and video games. So I'm very proud to be a part of something that has what I would like to think is a reasonably mature storyline, one that appeals to not just kids but adults as well. A lot of the themes and a lot of the moral implications of Red Dead, I think, are very mature and I was very proud to be a part of that, and not just with Rockstar Games, but there's lots of other studios as well that are bringing the industry forward to a very interesting place where storytelling and indeed interactive storytelling is evolving in front of our very eyes. And there's plenty of room for single-player story modes, and I think equally there's plenty of room for all the online stuff as well. And the medium itself has the potential to entertain everyone.
When you found out you got the role from Rockstar, did they suggest, or were there any Western movies that you were like, I have to watch this in order to prepare myself for this role?
Yeah, well, I was always a huge fan of Westerns, but I did ask that question. I think it was like about they asked me to show up for the audition in boots and to do a Midwestern accent. And I didn't know which studio it was at first, but funnily enough, had just finished playing the previous Red Dead Redemption, and I loved it. And my wife loved it too. It's one of the few games that she didn't mind watching because it's got beautiful scenery and the horses and whatnot. And so I did ask our director, Rod Edge, that question. And he told me to check out The Proposition, which is set in the Australian outback, but for all intents and purposes, it's totally a Western, in its theme and whatnot, and it deals with Guy Pearce's character having to come to terms with the loyalty that he holds to his brother, and then being forced to or being confronted with the fact that he might have to betray that trust, which is a theme that I think is pretty heavy and mainly featured in Red Dead as well. I've always been a big fan of the spaghetti westerns, John Ford stuff from earlier on, and you know that the Hauser brothers and all the other writers have a huge respect for the western genre because of all those little Easter eggs that you see, these little references where you recognize a certain camera shot from another western, and like for example the first one that pops into my mind, and I hope this doesn't spoil it, but one of the first train robbing missions that you do is taken almost shot for shot from the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. And they do it so well, and if you hadn't seen that movie, you would miss it. You would just think, oh, that's really coolly shot. But no, the respect that Rockstar Games has for the Western genre, it's such a joy and a privilege to be in that sort of environment where we're taking that genre from film and hopefully successfully transferring it to interactive entertainment with respect to what's been done in the films. Yeah.
Are there any live action movie representation of the games going to be in play at some point?
I have no idea. With Rockstar Games, I have absolutely no idea. But I have read recently that Sony are thinking of doing something with some of their respective studios, and that would be pretty cool. So, some Naughty Dog movies, that would be awesome. It's hard, though, at the same time, for example, going back to Red Dead, which is at least 60-plus hours of gameplay, I think it's a huge challenge to translate that much time, what is equivalent to what would be probably 5 or 6 seasons of a TV show, and then to successfully transfer that to a 2.5 hour movie. That's a challenge that I would be, that's not easy. That's not easily done.
Are there any games you're excited about playing in the next year or two, personally?
Last of Us 2. I still haven't done the Final Fantasy VII remake. I'd like to check that out. I still haven't done the Resident Evil 2 remake. That looks really interesting. I want to be a block of tofu again. And, the Vampire the Masquerade one and Cyberpunk. Really interesting. Don't know when that'll be, maybe in the next couple of years. But yeah, those ones there I'm really, really interested in. Although I spent all my brownie points playing Red Dead back in the end of last year, so my wife, I think I'll have to earn some more before I can lock myself away with the PS4 again.
So with all that, would you consider yourself a big gamer then?
I used to be a huge one, and then when I graduated college, I just lost the time to do it. But then when I started working again on it, I stopped being a gamer, and then I became what you call a researcher. At least that's what I kept telling my wife. So, but it was really valuable though, because I would be in the volume doing the performance capture, and the animators were just as hands-on with the actors as the directors were, because they knew what they needed in order to blend cutscenes into gameplay, etc. And so playing video games actually really helped me to better understand the requirements of the animators, so that, in the end, our professional relationship just got better, and then the communication didn't take as long. So it was genuinely a huge benefit. I was playing a lot of GTA 5 when I was doing Red Dead, The Last of Us, a lot of GTA 5 online as well. And also just watching how certain scenes would come, the beginning and ends of them, and then, of course, now with so many interactive cutscenes now becoming a thing, learning how that worked, too, and the animators helped me a great deal with that.
I got a tough question about the industry. If you want to beg off, that's totally cool. All right, are you SAG?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any thoughts or considerations on the current state of the industry in regards to the developers and their unionizing and things like that?
Oh, yeah, I hear that there's talk of a lot of the developers unionizing. I'm a very proud member of SAG-AFTRA, and I'm also a very appreciative working actor who wouldn't be where he is now if it wasn't for these game developers. But I certainly don't see any harm of unionization. Everybody is so talented and works so hard, and the industry itself is so competitive and has so many intelligent, talented people that, it's just a necessary evolutionary thing, I think, because this industry is just getting bigger and bigger, as everybody keeps hearing now. It makes more money than Hollywood. So whatever that can be done to achieve an environment which is sustainable and nurturing for everyone involved, I think is a win-win.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that.
What's the first video game you fell in love with?
Oh my gosh. This is going to be funny because it's apparently one of the worst video games ever made, but I was too young to know the difference. It was E.T. on the Atari. Because I loved the movie. And then I thought, okay, I guess this is what a video game is. But then I just didn't know how to complete it. And I don't think it's because, I think it's because you can't, right? I spent ages looking for a phone, and then I found the phone, and then I was looking for a key, and then that was it. And I thought, oh, I must be doing something wrong. And then decades later, that documentary about it came out where they're filling landfill holes with the thing. But I loved it.
The gaming industry has had a couple of problems lately. Like Kotaku put out a few articles about crunch culture. I think they talked about Epic. They talked about a few other big ones. Anthem was their big article.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with some problems in the industry about that? Have you had to deal with that at all?
I genuinely haven't. And one of the reasons why is because I'm protected by my union. Our call sheet, we have, a certain amount of hours in the day, but I can say, hand on my heart, that all of my old colleagues from Rockstar Games, they were so passionate and so committed to their work that I didn't see any burnt out issues at Rockstar Games. I genuinely haven't. Everyone was there, and they were happy to be there, and they loved what they did, and they worked hard, but they were proud of what they did, and so they should be, I think.
Have you cosplayed as any of your characters that you voice?
No, I haven't. There's some of them are too good, man. There's no way I could compare. I did a great one with Cloudy McDoom yesterday. Check out the Instagram and YouTube if you want to see the video. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right, gang, that was our press conference with Roger Clark from Red Dead Redemption 2 at Momocon. And now we're going to spend the rest of the show with Skungy. I know Dave's very excited about it.
I am so excited I can't even put it to words.
All right, gang, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Mata Hari, Agent H21 is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now for all of our eagle-eared listeners. Obviously, we mix things up a bit on Brian. So now we are so very, very pleased to welcome our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. And nothing is working. Hi, Skungy. Damn it.
Hi.
The hotkeys are just not firing?
Nothing is working.
Oh,
yeah.
that's terrible.
That's because I'm here. Whenever I'm in the studio, something goes wrong, man.
You bring bad juju.
Ah, no.
All right, so we're talking E3, Skungy.
E3 just happened this past week in California. The Electronics Entertainment Expo.
Yes.
It was.
Wow.
It was. So
is it
I'm
exciting
so
as
good.
Men in Black International?
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying my theme, my idea of E3 this year is E3 2019 coming 2020.
Oh, nice.
Because like 75% of the games that they're talking about is coming out next year.
Wow.
So it's a little bit disappointing, but there were some gems there. There was some excitement. There are some things that we didn't know were coming, and so I'm just going to roll into it. There are a couple of different press conferences we'll talk about. We've already talked about Microsoft last week.
Right.
Because that aired before last week's show. While we were recording, we had Bethesda.
Yes.
So Bethesda, the first thing that they came out and said basically was, we are sorry about Fallout 76.
Damn.
They're like, we didn't do as well as we thought it was going to do. So they spent about a good 20 minutes talking about Fallout 76 and about things that they were bringing to it.
And real quick, just so we understand, the canvas bags have gone out.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I forgot the update for mine. So they were talking about updates that they have coming. New quests are coming. They've got
NPCs?
Human NPCs. The fact that, it is 2019 and we have to clap for human NPCs in a MMO is ridiculous. But they also added this new nuclear winter area. Ooh. So, like it or hate it, whichever way you feel, Battle Royale is coming to Fallout 76.
Because everybody has to
because
have Battle Royale.
every game, every online game has to have Battle Royale. So it's going to be a 52-player Battle Royale. Now, the cool thing is all of this is going to be free. Okay. So it's a free update. So that was, a lot of the chunk of the first part of Bethesda. They had a couple of surprises. This new game called Ghostwire Tokyo looks like this really weird Japanese game where everybody has disappeared and all of a sudden like ghosts.
Oh yeah, that looks cool.
It looks really,
but the movie of it. Looks
the movie of it looks cool. Other than that, there was nothing else that they showed. For people who play ESO, they got 2 new Elder Scrolls Online. They've got 2 new DLCs coming this year. You've got a brand new online game called Commander Keen, which was a game years ago, and they picked up the license and started working on that. They also talked about Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a mobile game which has become really, really popular.
Okay.
It's free to download on your phone, and they're also going to be releasing it on the Switch later on this year, and it'll be a free download as well. And that's one thing that Bethesda's been doing a lot. They've been doing a lot of...
I'm sorry.
A lot of their stuff...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's some free stuff. Don't hate us.
Exactly. And you have Rage. Rage 2 just came out, just dropped. I gave that a positive review. They've got, it's called The Rise of the Ghost expansion coming out. So they're going to have new gameplay modes, new areas to go to, new characters, new weapons, all for free. That's coming out later on this year. They also have the VR Cyberpilot that is coming out for Wolfenstein. It's a VR, and that is going. I think that one's going to cost a little bit, but not a lot. It's not going to be
Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Wolfenstein. Well, for you, I know, Dave, you're a huge Wolfenstein fan, and they showed some video of the new Youngbloods game. Which is
but you're looking for Blazkowicz? Blazkowicz?
You're looking for him, and you're playing his daughters, his twin daughters.
All right.
So you have twins. What does that bring up? That brings up the Windows logo.
I'm trying to reboot and do the show at the same time. Stop judging me.
It's going to be a co-op Wolfenstein.
Oh.
So you get to play Wolfenstein co-op. So you have to find a friend, Dave, to play it, because I know you love Wolfenstein, and I know you're going to want to play
There's
it.
There's no bot friends for me?
You can do bots, but, it's...
Dude, get out more, Dave.
No,
Come
I
on.
hate people. That's why I'm in radio.
He does.
I stay in my little fishbowl, and nobody bothers me.
All right.
Yeah, it's set 2 decades after the events of Wolfenstein 2, and it's set in the 80s, so it's going to be probably that little cool synthesizer area.
That would be
That's going to
cool.
be really cool.
Do you think the Nazis would frown on mohawks and dyed hair?
Probably. I mean,
didn't they start the punk movement though?
They did.
I don't know.
They did.
Well, the one thing that Bethesda said is that any game, they will strive for the rest of eternity to punch Nazis in the face. So that's a good thing.
Hey, man, it's good family fun.
It is. Arcane Studios, which is owned by Bethesda, who did some of the best games I've played in the last couple of years with Prey and Dishonored, have a brand new game called Deathloop coming out. Now, we didn't know too much about it, but it's about these two assassins are trying to kill each other and are constantly killing each other in a loop.
So it's spy versus spy.
Spy versus spy,
yes,
but you die and then you wake up and then you have to do it again and then you have to do it again.
Groundhog's Day meets spy versus spy.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. I like it.
They talked a little bit about their brand new streaming service, Orion. I think it's Orion.
Bethesda?
Yeah, they're doing a brand new streaming service where they can, it's not a streaming service, it's their technology to make streaming better. So it's going to work with iCloud, with xCloud and all these different technologies to bring streaming even further than it is now.
So we're talking about the streaming, like browser-based game stuff that Microsoft's been talking about.
Yes.
So, and then Google Stadia?
For the Stadia, yes.
Yeah,
Stadia is going to be part of this
all right.
Thing. Then they ended the show basically talking about Doom Eternal. So it's a brand new Doom game, which I've always said Doom is just shoot people in the face with a shotgun. And
I still haven't played the other one because you
2016.
Because you said I might get sick.
It's
I need to take my old man motion pills.
It is very, very fast. I sometimes get a little queasy when I play it, but I mean it's still a lot of fun, and it's coming out on November 22nd. They've got this really cool multiplayer mode called Demon versus Slayer, where you actually get to play a demon versus a Slayer in a battle mode. So it's going to be really, really cool. That's and once again, a lot of their content, their map editors, all that stuff is free.
So it's like Grandma's Boy, the game now, right?
Basically, yes. I love that. Demonic. That was actually a real game that was not made.
I know it should have been made.
Yeah, it was.
Demonic.
Then this is that's basically it for the Bethesda. I got 2 games real quick that I wanted to mention that are not on any of these notes, but
we got time for you, bud.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2
nice
is coming to consoles.
Nice.
It originally was a PC only game, but it's coming to consoles next year. And let's just keep with White Wolf. And we got a Werewolf the Apocalypse game coming as well next year. I didn't know about it until like yesterday. I'm looking around, and apparently it's coming out in 2020.
Hunter the Reckoning was on what, PlayStation?
Xbox.
Was it on Xbox?
It was on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, because I had it for PlayStation, and it was stupid but fun.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, when I saw the Bloodlines game come out, the first thing I did was go find that old Fox series with Vampire.
Kindred the Embraced.
Kindred the Embraced.
Yeah.
That was such a cheap cheesy but awesome vampire show.
All right, Skungy, what's next on your list?
So we got Ubisoft was the next press conference.
All right.
And Ubisoft, normally there were a couple of games that I was looking for that they didn't mention. Skull and Bones, which was that pirate game that they mentioned, that was nowhere to be found. And Beyond Good and Evil 2 was nowhere to be found. So I'm like, I was really upset about that, but we did find out about a new Watch Dogs game called Legion.
All right, yeah, DJ was excited about this.
This is something interesting. I like the Watch Dogs series. It's a lot of fun. It deals with hacking and whatnot. Well, this one, the trailer.
You can jump into old ladies and
an
old
old
people,
lady
right?
uses a taser and shoots people in the face. It's like an old lady feeding pigeons in the park, and she walks up and just shoots this guy in the back of the head. I'm like, what am I watching?
This is great. And this is what I'm raising my 13-year-old son to play.
Oh, geez.
You're welcome,
The
world.
whole point of the game is that you're Legion. You can any person that is in the game, you can recruit them to DedSec and play as them, and each person has a unique backstory.
Huh.
That's phenomenal. That is unbelievable to have that much story.
Yeah.
Maybe
in a game.
because all the people from Bethesda must have gone over there, and that's why Fallout had no backstory.
Probably.
Well stated, Dave.
You're welcome.
Like it, yeah.
They talked about some new Rainbow Six Siege stuff, Phantom Sight, because Rainbow Six Siege is still one of the most popular games in the world. So they got a bunch of new DLC coming throughout the year for that. They talked about Ghost Recon, a brand new Ghost Recon game. Breakpoint, they showed John Bernthal, who played the Punisher. Bernthal played the Punisher.
Him.
He came out and did a little bit of spiel about it because he's the main antagonist.
Did he say, "You're breathtaking"?
No, he didn't. No, he wasn't as cool as Keanu because nothing is cool as Keanu.
No.
But it looks like they're going to have some like a Terminator DLC or something with it. They kind of just teased at it a little bit.
I thought that was for a different game.
Gears, it seems the year.
Gears 5,
it seems the year of the Terminator.
There was a Terminator trailer before.
Well, because the movies suck, they figure, hey, why don't you just play one? You can probably create a better narrative than we can.
Yeah, basically.
You're welcome again.
And good news, Sam Fisher is coming back from Splinter Cell.
Really?
Bad news, it's in a mobile game. So it's a mobile game with a bunch of people from Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and it's called Elite Squads. There's a For Honor event going on right now with the Samurai faction.
Oh, really?
Of them, they're still constantly doing new stuff with For Honor.
Yeah, I never was able to really get a good hang of that game. I was able to play it and like finish the regular mode, the story mode, but it's a hard game, man.
Yeah.
It's a really hard game.
All right, Skungy, I'm going to hold you right there. We do need to get to some commercials real quick, but when we come back, we're going to pick it back up with Skungy. More E3 coverage after these short commercial messages. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at W&Q's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. black tie tans. Tell your pale friends.
Hello, this is Chris Walken. If you've got a hankering for more cowbell, you can get it on The Week in Geek. Come on.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio and the Instagrams, The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and your mama's house. And because I fixed everything,
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
all right, Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Oh my God! Hi.
I am an engineer.
You are.
All right, Brian. You held up a finger to me. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, just a reminder to folks, we've got a lot of photos that are getting populated on.
Is that why you're so distracted? You're looking at photos?
I'm doing a number of different things. I mean, that's how administrative stuff gets done on this show, is because I get it done.
He's playing Candy Crush.
Right. Regardless, Don is posting pictures from SawaCon right now if you want to check that out on our Facebook page. And then somebody asked about calling in. Like, we don't ever have enough time for call-ins. But
I know. There's never enough time.
We have a phone number on our Facebook page if you would like to
leave
on
us
our
website,
message.
Right?
It's just on the Facebook page.
Oh, I saw it today.
Well, I'll have to go update it.
Okay, fine. Or just
social
stalk
media.
Brian. Yeah, stalk Brian on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll respond. It's cool. All right, where are we at?
All right, so we were just wrapped up with Ubisoft. I just want to say one thing more about it. They have a Uplay Plus, and this is just for you, Brian.
Okay.
It is a PC subscription service for $14.99 a month, and it's over 100 Ubisoft games that you can play with all the DLC, and that's just for the dirty PC.
And it absolutely has Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
All you can do is walk around Notre Dame, though.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
fine.
So the next one is Square Enix. The Square Enix press conference. They started off with the not remastering the actual remake of Final Fantasy VII, which is probably one of the most popular video games ever made.
Yeah.
They completely remade it. They had said it has 2 Blu-rays worth of material on it.
Wow.
Dear God.
They changed the gameplay style. It is no longer a turn-based RPG. It is now kind of a real-time, almost like what they did with Final Fantasy 15, where it's like real-time, but you can build up a meter and stop the battle in the middle of it and, do different, summons and whatnot. All voice acted, it looks really, really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out to 2020, so I don't know why they, it's being held up so long. I mean, you're just remaking a game that was made over 20 years ago. So
is somebody making them release the whole game at the same time?
Yes, it's going to be the whole game. It's not going to be like...
So maybe somebody finally held their feet to the fire, and they're going to give you the whole game instead of, here's half the game, download the rest of the month.
Well, and real quick, I know you're going to talk about it in a minute, but it's just the burnout issue with devs.
Yes.
We saw that before the show where Nintendo is delaying the release of the new Animal Crossing, so to give their devs time to develop it without like doing all the crunch time stuff.
Absolutely,
which is what Katie asked Roger Clark in that interview earlier. So awesome stuff. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah, that is really good that they're actually caring about their developers. You have new Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC apparently is coming out.
I was going to say hire more devs, but whatever.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
All right, Kingdom Hearts DLC.
Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC is going to be coming out, which, Kingdom Hearts 3 was a very good game. I really enjoyed it, and I think it'll be good because the ending didn't make any damn sense.
Do you really need the ending to make sense, though?
Well, after,
some people need closure, Brian.
Yeah, especially when it was supposed to be and you waited 10 years for a game, 15 years for a game. Yeah, I want to have an ending.
I'm playing.
And then the biggest thing that happened out of the Square Enix conference was Avengers. Now, it's getting a lot of, people are saying,
right.
People are saying that they don't look the same. Well, obviously they couldn't get the licensing to use the actual actors and their likeness and their voices, but it does have some high points to it. It's going to be an original story in the MCU.
Correct.
It's going to not just Marvel.
Yeah.
It's going to be 4-player team online co-op. You could play, or you could play by yourself. And they're going to have constant. It starts just with the Avengers, but as the game goes on, they're going to have new heroes because stories are going to just evolve, and new planets and new areas and new heroes, and all of it's free.
Yeah, here's one of the developers and the guy who's one of the main guys who was on the stage. I'm blanking on his name. But they were point blank asked about all this stuff. So they're not going to redo anybody's faces. So don't start a petition. That's not going to happen. Because I was one of the people that first saw. I'm like, what the bleep am I watching? I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. What's up with the scruffy nerf herder beer on Thor? It was weird looking. But that's not the complete rendering. So it's not done yet. But this is going to be a whole new Marvel universe. So they're changing the storylines, and like Skungy was saying, they're going to bring in other stuff. Yeah. But these are, in essence, kind of like new characters. They're more comic book based, which is why Thor has the saucers on his chest. Yeah. And so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at first blush, I looked at this, I'm like, this is a train wreck. And that's, when you look at it on the face of it, 22 years we've been 22 movies, 10 plus years, we've been seeing the same faces. So it's kind of hard to put that in the back seat and be like, okay, I'm going to play an Avengers game with people who look nothing like the Avengers.
Yeah, but the thing is we've had 80 years of Marvel Comics, which they don't look anything like what was in the movies. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, but
they got some really good voice actors. I mean, you got Nolan North and Troy Baker, two of the best that do acting in that business.
Right,
so,
and you said the gameplay was tight,
the
right?
gameplay, no, because they haven't actually given us any gameplay yet.
Right.
Okay.
So we still don't know. But,
okay.
It doesn't come out till 2020, so we'll find out then.
What? 2020?
2020. Yes. Oh, my God, 2020. So,
all right, what's next, Gunji?
Nintendo. I've just got a couple of little things about Nintendo. Number one, Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of my personal favorite. Luigi's Mansion is one of my personal favorite games of all times. It is coming out this year, and it's going to have couch co-op on it. They remade Link's Awakening is going to come out. It was originally a Game Boy Advance game, so we get another Legend of Zelda game this year. The Witcher 3, which is one of the biggest, most expansive games ever, is coming to the Switch. They have a brand new Contra game called Contra Rogues coming out, and when the conference happened, they announced that dropped, well, not that one, but a new collection dropped that day. So you get all the Contras, Contra 1, 2, Super Contra, all those arcade Contras for like $20.
Wow, nice.
Empire of Sin is a turn-based gangster style, almost like XCOM, made by John Romero, who is the man who made Doom, who created Doom, and has luscious locks of hair. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out this year for the Switch. That is, they are going to have DLC of the Marvel Knights, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. The Animal Crossing, much to the chagrin of a lot of people, was pushed back to 2020.
Right. Yeah, we just mentioned that. Yeah,
and probably one of the final things that I could say is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild has a sequel in development that just came out of nowhere.
Wow.
And if you notice, there's one thing missing from my notes.
What's that?
Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Sony is not at E3 this year because they said that it was more of a... They're saying it's more of a... It's not a trade show anymore, which is what E3 used to be. It's now a consumer show. And so we don't need to go there. But that's basically giving a big middle finger to all the consumers who go there to learn about games.
That's because nobody buys PlayStation or Sony products anymore.
But I mean, Nintendo hasn't been. That's not true.
PlayStation is winning the console battle.
I don't know.
It's dirty mouth.
I don't know. We're gonna. That's still yet to be determined. But what they did is Nintendo did it right. They didn't buy rent out a big theater and do all this kind of stuff. No, they just did a online, what they call direct. They're like, hey, these are the games we have coming out. Go to our booth and play them, and this is all the information. Sony released one trailer for Death Stranding, and that's it. There's crickets about it. You've got Last of Us coming out. You got all these games coming out that people want to know about, and they're just like, we don't care.
Wow. They're on their own schedule.
Yeah, it's causing a little bit of uproar in the video game community. So
I think there's actually another big message that you may not have thought about. That was in this deal. Well, so with all this streaming, gaming that's potentially on the horizon with the Google Stadia and all this kind of stuff, we're going to have this gaming utopia where the PC master race and the console peasants can come together and be as one because the platform won't matter anymore.
Well, it's not because
console peasants are people. Sorry. All right. Skungy, thank you. We won't fire you because you actually worked. You earned your keep today. Good on you, pal.
Yeah, good job,
I'm a
Skungy.
winner.
I don't go that far.
All right,
Brian.
Next week, our guest in studio, Star Wars author Daniel Jose Older, will be joining us, and I'm very excited because he's just like you, Dave. He's like spur of the moment, off the cuff. It's going to be an interesting interview.
So you're saying you hate him and he and I are going to be besties?
Probably.
All right, I like it.
Yes.
Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Walton and Johnson, making mornings great on News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans. An iHeart radio station.